that's a triple play. New episodes, I couldn't wait. Yeah, open your mind at the first gate. Press play, no need to debate. AOA, check me out. Look, plugged in, you can catch the hype. Golden Dawn, how we follow the light. Anime like life, married to it, my wife.
What is going on, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, people of all ages? Welcome back to the AOA show. I'm your host, as always, Ian, along with the boy Isaiah.
Oh, hi, yo.
And today we're hitting you with some more ToG rankings. This time, the top 6 abilities, items, whatever, on the floor of death with none other than Dr. Baldhead. I mean, Bonehead himself. Joe, how about you say hi to everyone right now?
I'm going to let that one slide. If I hear it again, I'm leaving the stream. What's going on, guys?
I had to go for it. So anyway, we're going to be ranking the top 6. And because this can be a little bit of a subjective thing, as you've seen before, we are going to have a little bit of parameters and rules to how we are ranking these. So we are going to go off of 3 criteria here. We're going to go off the utility of the item or the ability, its general usefulness, its versatility, so its usefulness in multiple situations rather than just one, and its power within the arc. So for those of you that are going to say, well, Ian, Isaiah, Joe, why isn't the Thorn always number 1, right? It's obviously the most powerful weapon in the tower, at least we think. In this arc, is it though? And that's the question I ask you, right? We're going to be going off the power in this arc. So keep that in mind. But anyway, we're gonna get into this. Make sure if you guys enjoy the video that you're liking, subscribing, and hitting that bell if you are new here so you don't miss any future Tower of God content. And also head over to Dr. Bonehead's channel to catch the other segments of this live stream in addition to all the Tower of God content that you could possibly want. It's gonna be a fun time. But anyway, without further ado, let's hop into it.
All right. Let me find the thing. Boom. All right. Abilities. Here we go. So even though this is on the AOA channel, I'm the one controlling the pictures. So, I mean, let's be real. I'm the one that has the ultimate say about what this list is going to be. I mean, I'm just saying. I've taken Gavin's place for today. The power. All right. So, just going off what we have here, I know they're just pictures, so it can be hard to know exactly what we're talking about here. But we have Hockney's Eyes, the Red Thrissa or Thrisha, Coon's Anacor, the Frogfisher, Little B, the Thorn, the 13 Months, and the Bell of Dawn, which also combines with the Cloak. So, we're doing a top 6, so we have to chop 2. What do you guys think? Take it away.
Whew, okay.
What's the one in between the Thorn and the Bell?
The 13 Months. It's their faces. That's why it looks weird.
Oh, okay.
It's just that both. Okay, here, I'll do that. It's that both of them are in the panel, so I was like, oh, it's perfect.
Okay, yeah. I didn't. Okay, I got you.
They're just mean.
I didn't see the face at first.
Damn, look at how grizzly Hell Joe looks, dude, with that mask.
Oh, it's so sick, bro.
I love that.
His design is so dope. Oh my gosh. Anyway, talking about the other. Sorry, fanboying a little bit.
So I feel like the Bell, I'll just rip the Band-Aid off here, is going to be a 6 because,
or off the list.
oh yeah, I'm sorry, actually not even on the list because when we're talking about abilities here, they gotta function efficiently, and I just feel like some rusty bell that Garen picked up from the sidewalk from a dead wizard, in Dark Souls, just ain't really matching up to stuff like Little B and the Red.
I just love how when we last met, we were deciding which options we were gonna be. We talked for so long. We were like, okay, the bell. We're gonna put the bell on the list, and does it deserve to be here? I guess. And the second we start, it's like, all right, goodbye, bell. It's like, wow, okay, it lasted 5 seconds. Oh my gosh!
I'm glad I wasted my time screenshotting this and on to get immediately chopped.
But the funny thing is, we all knew it was coming.
Yeah, am I wrong?
Dude, no, you're not wrong. To be fair for anyone, we did have it that the Bell of Dawn would be combined with the cloak that Garam has as well. So you can't see it on the panel, obviously, but it was kind of a package deal because we knew that this one was probably going to be the weakest. So I guess the question is, even with the cloak, does it still get chopped? And Yeah, because it's just to refresh my memory before I just jump into it closed-minded.
Sure. Okay.
Can you? What is it that they do specifically? Again, the bell drives out spirits, right? And the cloak literally you just throw a blanket on someone, and they're like, "I can't get out of the blanket," right?
Well, spirits.
And it's like really woolly and like hot and itchy, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's like torture.
Like, I hate this.
They can't breathe. I mean, come on. Well, okay. See, and the funny thing is, if the cloak did that, that would even be cooler than what it does, because it only does that if you're an evil spirit. So it's like, wow, okay. So not only does it, you have to be an evil spirit.
A light breeze can just knock it off, which kind of defeats the purpose of it being like a restraint.
Okay, that's not. Hell, Joe took it off with his bare hands. It wasn't a light breeze. Get out of here.
I feel like if he blew some air, could have done.
Yeah, so I feel like ranking, so utility, versatility, and power within the arc.
Goodbye,
power within the arc, I mean, it happened to be relevant in that one particular scenario, but that was a very particular scenario. Again, its utility in that scenario, again, kind of goes hand in hand with that. Very useful in that its versatility is basically abysmal, though. It has none. It's literally, if you're not fighting a ghost,
it doesn't exist.
Then it's useless. You have a blanket and a bell on you.
So real, like Bomb did that thing's job.
Yeah,
and it worked.
Yeah. So
just put Bomb on the list.
Bob just had to stare at Yuri and say, "Yuri." Yeah, that's true. Goodbye, Bell. Yeah. We'll miss you. All right, moving on. So axing the next thing here. So I want to point out, though, we are staying within the arc, like Ian said. So Frogfisher only does one thing during this arc, and Evan uses, I think it's like Destruction, the third urge or something, Destruction, and he shoots this like large Shinsu Blast. It's a Shinsu Blast coming from a ranker, so that's, it's worth mentioning. However, we're not counting everything that it can do because we're talking about within this arc. So,
right.
Yeah.
With that being said, I do kind of think the Frogfisher is the next thing to go.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Because yeah, you're right. I keep trying to, I don't know, because like, again, if it was with all the arcs, I think when we did
That's what I'm saying, like just in this arc, I feel like compared to some of the other things here, which kind of like define the arc in terms of abilities or like what people can do. Like you said, Evan just kind of shoots a laser beam out of his finger.
Pretty much.
It's cool.
It's cool, but like, I agree. Yeah. I don't think we need to talk about it too much, because if it had its other things, then maybe. Ian, you cool with that? Boom. Goodbye. All right. Here we have our top 6. Woohoo. All right. So I don't know where to start. I don't know where to start. These are kind of interesting.
Let's see. I'm looking at this list right now. Okay. So remember, guys, utility.
Totally.
So it's usefulness just in general scenarios or whatever. It's versatility. So it's usefulness spread across, or I'm sorry, not its usefulness. It's just it's capacity to do multiple things in multiple scenarios. Not necessarily how usefully it does in each one, but the fact that it can, and kind of one within the same. And then its power within the arc. So can you finger flick someone and destroy them or not? So that is the criteria that we're going off of here.
Okay.
So I
do have that.
Okay. Can somebody explain the bee thing again to me? Like what specifically this thing can do besides almost kill Rachel?
You don't know what Lil B can do? Yeah. Lil B is the most overpowered. Okay.
Right now.
So Lil B is Grandilee's ultimate weapon, and it's a little bee. So it's invisible. Oh, it's invisible. That's huge. And it also can kill you with poison. However, it can't just kill you with poison. It can kill like anybody with poison, even if you're a ranker, right? Rachel would have died if not for Best Girl Irude coming in clutch. So it's got poison, it's got speed, and actually, you know what? It also has destructive power. I don't know why I'm advocating so hard for Lil B, but it has destructive power too because it destroyed Kuhn's Ana core. Like, Kuhn trapped it, and then it was like, and it just broke out. And Kuhn was able to trap like giant monsters in this thing with, and this thing just broke out, like just like that. So, A little B.
Yeah, okay.
Saying Anacore for 6.
I don't know. I was wondering if
well,
Hockney's eyes.
Okay. No.
And fight.
Okay. Hockey's eyes, bro. Okay. We every time this is brought up, we debate this. But here's the thing. Here's the thing, bro.
Like, Deadpool can see in the future, and I'm like, but can he though?
Like,
He
no one's
literally
giving me the
can.
actual, like, nobody's been like, give me a number. You know what I mean? Like, give me the exacts on what he can do. It's just like, oh, I can see the future.
Anytime something bad is gonna happen, Hockney knows. Sorry, that was loud. Hockney knows about it. Hockney knows about it because he gets the premonition. Can he see always the future? No, he can't always see the future. It's only when it matters. That's busted. Could you, like, okay, if I'm at the start of the tower, right? And they're like, okay, you can get something that's really powerful, you know, but maybe it has some drawbacks. You have to be strong, whatever. Or you can literally see into the future when it matters. Like, if you're about to die, you're going to know. You can avoid death. You can see when this is going to happen. What do you choose? Seeing into the future is busted.
To be fair, I would.
See the future.
I would vote for Hockney's because my initial impression was that like it would happen to him in random spurts or random moments, but he didn't get to choose those moments, and those moments didn't necessarily have to be like life or death situations. So I was like, oh, okay, well that's actually kind of random and unpredictable to work with then, because it's not so much Hockney using the ability, actually it's the ability using Hockney, and like he just has to like live with that. But if it is a little bit more of like, you know, think about like Spider Sense, where it's like it triggers, you know, almost when it's most necessary, because the moment he's in, it's like if he doesn't get that premonition, he or somebody else could die. Then it is, you know, then I definitely would put it over something like, you know, again, the Anacore, and not the ability overall, the Anacore, specifically the way it's used in this arc, which is the way Kuhn uses it, which we know that he technically can't even really use it, or at least to its full potential, without beta. And like you said earlier, Joe, the fact that the little B was able to break through it shows that it's not like the, you know, the all maxed out stat version of the Anacore. So yeah, I would
no, I agree. And just to go on the record, obviously being able to see into the future, even if it's 2 minutes, I actually would argue is like the most powerful, like if you could choose, like you get a superpower just in general, and it's like, you know, there's nerfs to each one of them or whatever. I would argue that being able to see into the future is probably one of the best ones that you could pick. Listen, if I've learned anything from watching JoJo, any stand that can do anything with time is always the most busted stand. So being that this has somewhat of a manipulation of time in, if you break it down, I do think Hockney's is that. I just wanted to clarify exactly what it could do, and because I was just confused because it was like we never like get to see in Hockney's eyes like the way he perceives it. It's just like, oh, I can see it. So I just didn't know if I was missing something in terms of a drawback, or if it was like Isaiah was saying, where it was like kind of he couldn't control it or whatever. So, but I could see that.
To clear that up, it is random, but I only mean random in that, like, he can't just be like, okay, what's gonna happen? You know, he can't choose. However, it's not like sporadic. It's not like he's eating breakfast and he sees 5 seconds from now he spills the milk. It's like, no, if you're about to die, you're gonna know. And so every time he gets the vision. Because you
never make a mistake in life ever. Right before you do, it's like, oh, I'm gonna drop that. All right.
I'm gonna stub my toe. Ooh, that actually, you know what? That would put him even higher.
And I guess you know what's funny is that I almost, in a weird sense, think the fact that it seems to be, I'm gonna go with instinctual. Right, it's almost like an involuntary movement, like the beating of your heart. Right, you don't have to think about that.
Spider Sense. I
actually think in some situations that's almost better.
Yes.
In the sense that you don't have to actively think about it, because you think about it, and the mind is always trying to filter out needless information or information that bogs down the brain too much, right? Because if you constantly think of every single thing that you do and say throughout your day, you'd go crazy, right? You can't actually do all that. So I do think if it's an instinctual and involuntary thing, it actually might benefit him in that sense, because he's not bogged down with trying to figure it out. Because imagine trying to just figure out your life, but now try and imagine thinking 2 minutes into the future and doing what you're doing at the same time. That seems like a huge task. Like, I feel like you'd almost want it to be an instinct type thing. So I do like that.
Okay.
A lot.
So now that that's out the way, we're putting at 6.
Okay, so let's talk about you know, I think the only thing, by the way, I know there's a little bit of buffering going on. Sorry, guys. I think it's mostly fixed now. It wasn't too big of a deal. At number 6, I almost think the only one that makes sense is Kuhn's Anacore, because it's kind of the only like regular ability on the list. So we're talking about, Little B broke out of it. So that kind of automatically, cements it as like a stronger ability. You could argue versatility, whatever. It's buffer. It's really laggy. Should we hang tight? I might. Okay, it's pretty laggy. Let's hang tight.
Hang tight a second anyway, because my food's here. So I'm just gonna go. I'm gonna go.
Well,
I'm gonna go
perfect.
grab it.
All right.
That'll just give us a
Break
minute.
time. We're gonna take a couple minutes. I thought,
Yeah, this is.
pretty laggy.
Yeah, I just refreshed our page. It's looking a little bit better.
Okay. Usually when it does this, it goes away pretty quickly. I know that the characters one, that one, there was pretty much no lag, so that's good at least.
Okay, that's good. Yeah. Lag City.
Yeah, it's definitely buffering. It's pretty laggy. Let's hang tight. The audio's okay. They can hear us, but the video, it's mostly the video.
Yeah, that's what it. Yeah. Because people are saying the audio.
Oh,
is
okay.
good, sounds
All
good.
right. Well, at least you can hear us. Hang tight, guys. I know. You all already know. My internet is fantastic. Most of you already have already learned to live with it, but
Y'all already know.
y'all, yeah, come on, guys. Y'all already know.
I have the buffering emoji.
I've learned that emoji is cursed. Every time I see it, I'm like, frick, my internet. I'm like, that means there it goes.
That's perfect.
Yeah. Talking about stands that control time, buffering begins. That cannot be a coincidence, right?
Is this stream just a JoJo's reference?
Yeah. Wait, so is one of us controlling the stand? Is the question. I think Ian's kind of sus. He's the one that brought it up.
It's true. It's true.
Wait, besides, his food came really fast. Doesn't that also seem like a little sus? I don't know.
True.
Like, I was
It would take me
surprised.
a while.
I was like instant.
You're right. We should get rid of him.
It's all right now. Is the stream better? We doing better?
It is looking better on our end too.
Okay, let's go. The audio is fine, but your cameras were freezing. Okay. Yeah, it says good connection. You know what? I'll take it. It doesn't say great connection, but it says good connection. Ah, frick.
It's good. Good's not great, but good's good.
Good's good.
It's true.
Wait, besides his food. I think though, the record, like, even if you guys, I apologize that it's laggy for you guys. Even so, the recording will be mostly fine. Because they're in a Discord, like we're in a Discord call, like they might be a little bit laggy, but like I can see their camera, like their camera works for me fine. So at least the recording will be mostly fine.
Yeah.
It's still a little laggy, and you guys are a little bit laggy, but it's not too bad.
If
Apologies,
you turn
guys.
the quality down on the YouTube video, does it become less laggy? Because it's at 360p. Like if you put it to 144. I'm just curious.
Well, this is behind the scenes. This is good. The audio's fine, but your cameras are freezing for a bit, but it seems to be okay. But it's buffering again. Okay.
Balls.
Worst case scenario, we'll just run with it. Because again, the recording will be fine, and you guys can at least still hear us. Because it should eventually fix itself. Yeah.
Tell your fam to get off the internet. Be like, hey, if anybody's using Wi-Fi, get off. No big deal. We're chilling.
Okay. You think we should just continue? Because again, the video will be mostly fine. Or do you think we should wait it out more?
Might as well just keep going, right?
I'm all for keeping going. I think that would be fine because again, the video itself will be 90% fine. Y'all,
Also, I mean, this might happen again, and we don't see
exactly. Yeah. And that is one of the, when we were making these streams, that was the stream idea. That was one of the stipulations. I was like, my internet is not the best, but you know what? Here we are. Okay. Let's continue then. We were talking about...
It is what it is.
Yeah. Okay. So my vote is Kuhn's Aina Core at number 6, because it's sort of the only regular ability. All the other things on here are more or less ranker abilities. Like the Thorn can be used by Bomb, who isn't a regular, whatever. But that's kind of a special case. Everything else here, just like, I don't know, it sort of transcends that, in my opinion. You know what I mean? So
yeah, I agree. I think Anacore goes at 6 because if we're going off of utility, versatility, and power within this arc, obviously power within this arc, it is at 6. Like that's not even a question.
Yeah.
The little bee, right? The little bee smashes through it or whatever.
Oh yeah.
With the blink of an eye, and it can't actually like kill anyone in that sense, and restrain very powerful opponents for too long. So that's definitely a point against it. The utility when it's in there is great for being able to keep down someone who is strong in that moment. But the versatility is kind of wonky in that sense too, because of the fact that he needs a lot of things to come together to use it. And it doesn't actually, the Anacore itself doesn't actually do a lot of things. It's not like the Blue War, right? Where like the Blue War could fly or like block attacks or whatever.
Right.
So yeah, I do think that 6 would be the spot for Anacore.
Okay. So now I think it's sort of a debate between Lil B, Thorn. Well, okay. The Thorn is weird though, because it's like, okay, can we clarify what exactly the Thorn did this arc? Because it allowed Bomb to be able to use Shinsu even on the floor of death, where that shouldn't have really been possible with Heljo kind of in control of it all. However, it's like power wise, I don't know. Yeah, like I
was under the impression that was sort of its biggest contributor, again, at least to this arc specifically. And the Thorn, in reference to how Bam can use it, because again, even in the fight, like the fight again is mostly Yurik leading with Bam as a support.
Right.
So like the Thorn doesn't really do a whole lot in terms of power. So I would argue that versatility is really the only thing that it gets a point in.
Yeah, I think there's an argument to be had about it going above the 13 months. And so by the 13 months, we're talking about the Black March or the Green April.
Yeah.
So I think there's an argument to be had there that it goes above those. And then, if where we want to rank that in accordance to Lil B is the other question, all the other ones, etc. But I think the fact that you are able to use Shinsu is a huge bump for sure. And I didn't know this until recently. I didn't know that the 13 month, they're obviously really good weapons, the 13-month series.
Right.
But I didn't know that they weren't like the best weapons. It's really kind of like almost a status symbol as well, which is interesting. So they have very useful abilities, but I guess it's kind of hard to pin it down besides like big explosions and then the ignition, because in the confines of this arc, the ignition actually goes bad. So there is kind of a weird caveat with that, whereas the Thorn seems to be just kind of like a strict upgrade in all scenarios.
I think
is
true.
Utility of the Thorn and its versatility are really good. I think the power within the arc, fair enough that the 13 months might beat it out, but it's also Yuri that's holding them. So I don't know if that's really the items themselves so much as it is the wielder in this arc. So I see an argument there.
I like that.
Personally.
I think, the 13 months are very powerful because she's using them to fight ranker level opponents. Bomb probably wouldn't be able to fight ranker level opponents at this level. However, the Thorn still does allow him to use Shinsu and power him up at the same time. So I could see the Thorn earning a place above it, especially with what you're saying, the caveat of the bad stuff that happened with the 13 months. The 13, like, it's interesting because some of the 13 months are like really strong, but like not the best, but a couple of them are like some of the top 5 weapons. I think
kind of weird thing.
Golden November, I think, is the strongest, something like that. So it depends on which one you're talking about, but yeah. So I don't know. Good for breaking
So
spells.
then,
Someone in the chat said that too. That is true. They're able to help with that, breaking spells.
oh, true.
What is?
The 13 months.
Wait, what? The 13 months?
Oh.
Oh, just the thorn? I didn't know if
wait.
the thorn did that too.
Oh, maybe they're talking about the thorn. Wait, I thought the 13 months
Wait, I
were
think,
able to do
I think
that.
they are, because isn't the thorn the reason why spells don't work on bomb?
I don't know.
Oh. Gosh, this looks bad. I can't even remember. I can't even. Wow, wait. But wasn't there something about the 13 months? Because they're souls, right? So there's something about that?
I know that they're cursed, like the spirits of the spirits in the weapons are cursed by jihad, and like they're basically cursed to corrupt a princess if they get a hold of too many, I think. If that
Sure.
sounds right, but
Sure.
I'm not. But I don't know if it's like. Maybe there was something where they're resistant to spells, like the actual spirits themselves.
Yeah.
I don't know. I
Damn.
think
Just
the
threw the
thorn.
whole thing overboard, huh?
Well,
I have no clue.
I was onto something, but you know
Put 'em
what?
at the top.
I don't even know anymore. I'm
Is it
thinking.
13 months per
This
the
is-
floor of Death Arc. Okay.
Okay, but here's what I'm
Fair
thinking
enough.
too. Let's be real. If we're doing Little B versus 13 months, I gotta give it to 13 months for the win, right? I mean, it's
Agreed.
a Little B.
Yeah.
I mean, all right. So let's put Little B at number 5.
It's a little bit. Come
Now,
on.
is Little B more powerful than Nahakmi's eyes?
Yes.
No.
Yes. What?
Oh, you think so?
I think Hockney's eyes are like the most okay.
No,
but then
that's
it's-
what I was saying. He said.
Oh, yeah.
You think Hockney's eyes are more powerful than the bee, right?
And I'm saying yes.
No, I said, do you think the Little B is more powerful than
Oh.
Nahakmi's eyes? It doesn't matter, but I'm curious to know
I'm
what
saying
the thought
eyes
process
over
is
B.
there.
Eyes over B.
Yeah, that's
All
fine.
right,
Yeah,
cool.
okay.
Okay. I thought you were. I was thinking like,
Really?
yeah.
Okay, can the bee? Does the bee have
Yeah.
Oh man. Okay.
Yeah,
wait.
but if we just establish that the eyes will protect or save you by giving you a vision of the future when you're in a
Right.
life or death scenario, if the bee is going to kill you, even if it's invisible, Hockney would still be able to know.
He would be able to
and
know.
then dodge it.
Well,
He would be able to know.
That's the question actually, because just because you can see into the future does not automatically mean you're going to be saved, right? Like there could be some crazy shit where there's an explosion, right? And it's 2 minutes, and you're like, I don't have time to get out of here. I'm dead,
Well,
right?
sure.
Or it could be that you know what's happening, but your reflexes as an individual are just not fast enough in order to actually do anything about it.
But
Now the other thing too is if the little bee is invisible, the eyes can see into the future, but if the bee is invisible, he might know that he just gets just gets boom, lights out, and then but like he doesn't know what it's from. So he has literally nothing he can do within those however many minutes he has to do anything about it.
But that's a very specific
What are you gonna say,
case where the invisible little bee is attacking Hockney. Like it's like, okay, if you pit them against each other, sure, you could make that argument. But I think in most like 99% of cases, the eyes will save you from that situation. Because A, it's 5 seconds, not very much time, but it's Tower of God time. There's moments where Hockney sees it and he's like, oh no, what am I gonna do? Okay, I'll tell them now. Guys, watch out! And it's like, that was 5 seconds. It's like, yeah, but it's a Tower of God 5 seconds. So I don't know. I think in most cases, the
Can
eyes
you
do
see
something.
through the bee's eyes? Like, is the bee its own little thing? Like, we didn't get enough of
You
that.
know what? You might be right because I think it's an observer, right?
Okay, because I was gonna say if he can do that ability, I don't think we should be sleeping on the little bee because it's invisible. Okay,
Yeah.
it's microscopically small, which means that you could literally infiltrate like shit. You could like pick locks probably with that, or like do some like wild stuff where you're going in like through manholes and you're going into a whole infiltrate and you're like scouting the whole area before you go. So in a weird sense, it almost gives you this sort of like foresight without actually having foresight, in the sense that you could plan exactly what it is you're doing if you use in that scenario. It's also great as an assassin's tool, clearly, because nobody could see it coming, etc. I think there's a lot that this item does.
So one of the other things is, can anybody use that thing? Like, are there any requirements or specifications that have to be met to use it?
I'm assuming it's a ranker weapon, so like, or a ranker observer. So I'm assuming you have to at least be a ranker and be somewhat skilled. Be a scout probably, but
Okay.
we don't know. Aside from that, you know, Granduli's the only one who has this thing. It's probably tailor made for him. He probably built it or something. Who knows? That's a good point though. Maybe we're kind of sleeping on Little B. But at the same time, we're still talking about Hockney's freaking future seeing eyes. Like, come on, man. It's just so like
Ian, I get what you're saying, but you know,
okay,
Hockney
imagine
has these eyes.
Imagine this scenario. you're a high ranker, okay, and you're waltzing up to a guy who has little b. You're gonna find a way to beat little b. Like if you're like a high ranker, no.
What are you talking about?
No.
You can't even see little b.
Yeah, but if you're a high ranker, you probably have observers or lighthouses going around that can still track it. If you get stung, you're probably gonna find it. You know what I mean? Like Calavan would probably find a way. Go ahead.
Yes, I agree in the sense that like my argument with that last point was that while the little b is strong, I think it looks stronger because somebody like Grande Ja, if that's the one, Grande Lee is using it against regulars.
Exactly.
Right. I feel like the argument we made with Hockney maybe not having the reaction time. If he was going up against a ranker, I promise you they'd probably have enough reaction time to be able to avoid that thing. And so it becomes a question of like, sure, against regulars, it looked like it was impossible to dodge, but I don't think that actually means it's impossible to avoid.
I mean,
just think
Bomb,
if you are...
Yeah. Like, Bomb could read the Shinsu around... Sorry, I didn't want to interrupt, but Bomb could read the Shinsu around him, like, during his fight with Elaine. I can't imagine high rankers. They can probably sense that something is coming. You know what I mean, right?
Yeah, invisible just means to the literal normal eye, but it doesn't mean, like nobody, nothing can detect it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, okay, that's
because
fair.
If Hockney sees an attack, if he sees an attack coming, you know, he can. I don't know. I just feel like as a even like upper echelon, if you're like Jihad, those eyes are probably extremely valuable. But if you're Jihad looking at the little b, you probably do not care. You're probably like, "What is this crap?
Yeah.
Get this off! Get this off of my table."
I guess I just when I think of these in like a real world scenario, the more I think about Hockney's eyes, and again, I've already stated that I think being able to see into the future in any sense is absolutely insanely powerful. Don't get me wrong. But the more I think about it, the more I realize that the eyes seem to have to scale, and there is definitely I think it's much harder to master what the eyes give you as an ability than something like the B, in the sense that you couldn't just give those eyes to any rando off the side of the street and be like, okay, now utilize this in whatever way possible, right? Because just because you could see into that, being able to think on the fly, say it's 2 minutes, to be able to sequence exactly what you're going to do to come around that, and then seeing other scenarios on top of that, like once you change your mind stuff, there's a lot going on. Like if I just gave myself those eyes and it's like, okay, now go fight Brock Lesnar. It's like, I don't even know if 2 minutes in the future is enough for you to even plan what the hell that you're doing. So I guess my point is that I feel like the eyes are very useful once you understand them. And I think one of Hockney's things is because he's had them for so long, for sure. So fair enough. Yeah, like I said, I'm open-minded on this. But the I do feel like there is a downside in the sense that like you couldn't just get those and then you're just like, okay, that's it. I'm the most busted person here. I think there's an air of creativity and a shitload of practice that comes with that.
But couldn't you say the same thing about the B? Like, I don't think anybody can pick that thing up and just use it like Grant Lee does.
Really? I think that like you give someone. Well, I mean, yeah. Besides that, though, I'm just saying like somebody gives you the item and you say this is a bee that is invisible, it flies really fast, and it can sting people, and you can look through its eyes like.
As a scout, you probably need to know like a lot of calculations. You probably are constantly having to like think about. It's probably really difficult. I can't imagine that it's like something like if Shibisu found it and was able to just use it just like that and could just go kill everybody. You know, go kill Yasracha and everybody in the net. It's like that seems a little bit. You know, I think. And plus, I'm assuming someone in the chat asked this. I'm assuming that the Lil B is not resilient. You know what I mean? I can assume that if Evan Kell senses it coming and shoots out a flame, it's probably done. There's no way, right? Yeah, it's probably done. You know, that's another thing. I don't know. I mean, it broke through Kuhn's lighthouse, but like that's a regular item. So
no, you convinced me. That's fair. That's fair.
Little B.
Plus, I'm pretty sure, like, just as a side thing, they've stated that like some rankers and high rankers, like their bodies are just so strong that I don't even think it
wouldn't even do anything.
That's probably true.
Taken like it's invisible.
We do know that some rankers have abilities that are kind of tailor made to fight like regulars. Like Charlie, for example, he said that his white light ability is literally only good against regulars. He said like regulars cannot escape this. I'm busted against regulars, but against a ranker, it's practically useless. So yeah.
That's fair.
So let's put it there. I put, just to kind of speed it along, I think I'd put the 13 months at 4 and then Thorn at 3. Is that kind of what we...
God damn, you're really putting Hockey's Eyes at 2. You were not freaking, or 1.
Holy crap.
You are not kidding, bro. Holy shit.
Okay.
I do. All right. Well, first off, I just want to say I do agree with that it belongs in the top 2.
Are you for real?
Yeah.
Are you guys for real? Dude,
I'm just kidding. No,
one of the best abilities in the Floor of Death, and I feel like if you can see into the future, the only thing that makes or breaks that ability is how strong you as an individual.
One thing we have to also realize is, again, remember one of the criteria here is power within the arc.
Right. Oh.
So Hockney, if he's not utilizing these eyes like on a level that we've seen within the arc, that does like the overall power of it. We have to remember, because if we get into that boat, then we just say the Thorn, right? Because the Thorn's capability is like ridiculous. So remember that. Try and keep at least its power going within the confines of the arc. I don't know. I think it's really powerful. I just like, goddamn, dude.
It's just the arc where we learn about it, and
in the third. Shit, I don't know. I just
I don't
think. You gotta remember the 13 months, if the chat was correct, can break spells as well, which is a huge buff in the in this tower going forward. And if you ignite it properly, you basically get a goddess that comes out and just like beats the shit out of your opponent.
But
like you have a stand.
Did they break a spell in this arc, Ian?
That's fair. That is fair.
I don't know.
No. You are right. You are right. No. I was just saying if we're taking Hockney's Eyes out of the arc.
No, you're right.
So
I
just keep them within the arc.
I'm giving it more emphasis, I guess, because it is the arc where we learn about where it came from. Like, okay, these are eyes. These eyes were created because someone gazed upon Enryu. It goes to number 1. I'm just kidding. Like, I think it's just... I don't know.
I could see...
Oh, and I think... And two, you know, I don't want to get it confused, because some people might think it's like, okay, well, you know, it has to be the power and what they did in this arc. Remember that utility and versatility are still a thing. So like saying that the 13 months can break a spell, even though it did not break a spell, still counts as something in terms of utility and versatility.
No, you're right. And Chad is actually correcting me. They did break spells during this arc. Because she was able to kill Heljo's minions who were immortal, but the 13 months were able to break that spell. That's true.
That is true. That's pretty good, being able to kill someone that's immortal.
Okay, but like... Okay, but imagine this, okay? You're a high ranker who is eating lunch, and you have the 13 months, and you have the eyes. Which one is going to save you when you find out there's a sniper is about to shoot you in the head? You're going to be like, oh, shoot. Imagine how busted that would be. Imagine how every time you're about to die, you're going to know. Even if it's an explosion, maybe you're a high ranker who can freaking prepare for it. Even, you know, if you're about to get sniped, you're able to prepare for it. If you, you know, if you're about to get betrayed by someone, you're going to know it, you know? There's so many possibilities with these eyes. It, like, goes beyond, in my opinion, almost anything.
Is there a world where we swap the 13th month and the Thorn, and we do Thorn 13th months?
Yeah.
Eyes? Yeah. Thorn at 4, 13 months at 3.
I could see 13 months above Thorn in this arc. Breaking the spell.
Destructive power. Yeah, no. I mean, that's the thing aside. I can't see eyes going at 2, dude. Like, I understand. I understand that, again, we have never gotten a specific timetable, and it's instinctual. So I've been just saying 2 minutes, but it doesn't necessarily, right? There's nothing specifically states the exact amount of time.
5 seconds, right? Is it 5 seconds? I thought it did.
2 minutes this entire time.
I kept saying 5 seconds because I was.
I'm sorry.
No,
I didn't realize. Hell no, this doesn't belong at 2. Are you out of your bird?
No
Dude,
way.
It's like that's super long, right? You could like organize a plan. You do that, but 5 seconds, dude. You're gonna give someone 5 seconds to like, dude. Even if there is a sniper at your head and you got 5 seconds, like if you're not strong enough to fight that guy, you know what I mean? Like, sure, that's a specific scenario, but it's like, dude, you're in a building and someone just ignites.
I want to say something so bad. All right, I want to say something so bad. All right, fine. You know what? Fine. We're gonna have this conversation again once you finish season 3. Okay, whatever. That's all I'm gonna say. Whatever, dude. Whatever.
Your house.
No, I've seen JoJo. I get it. The world can stop time for 5 seconds, and that is insane. I understand, right? Like, that's really busted. I'm saying, dude, like, when you could kill people that are supposed to be immortal with the 13 months, when you could summon spirits to fight for you, when you could, like, your power level just as an individual is going up so exponentially, right? Like, if you could see 5 seconds in the future, that's very strong. But if you yourself aren't up to snuff, like if you don't have a proper weapon to fight, this is the tower, remember, if you don't have a proper weapon to be able to do whatever, those, you could think of a million specific scenarios for 5 seconds seeing in the future where it's really good, right? In the sense that somebody's got a sniper pointed at your head. Okay, I can see that. But in the sense that it's like, we need to blow down this door, or this guy's immortal, so we need to do something about it. Or, you know, there's an enemy that just outranks me by like God knows how much power. Or just, you know, whatever, like take all those things into consideration. I don't know that like seeing into the future 5 seconds is like the end all be all.
It's not. No, I agree. See, like, I'm not, I think no matter what, Red Thriss is going at number 1 because it was the, you know, absolutely bonkers. I'm not saying it's like, oh, because you can see into the future, all other abilities are pointless. But Hockney, when he's even talking about the eyes in this arc, he tells that story about when he was traveling with a group of regulars who he considered to be friends. He got a vision that he was going to get killed by something, and so he dodged, and it instead killed like the betrayer or something like that. Someone threw a spear, and it would have killed him. He would have died, but because he got the warning, he was able to fight them off and escape alive. So I'm not.
It made this, bro. I get it.
I'm just saying. All right, whatever. You know what? Let's put. All right, so you're thinking at number 4? Let's put it number. You know what? 6. Let's put it number 6. Let's put it in a core. You know. Let's. I'm fine. What do you want to do? What do you want to do, Ian? What are we doing?
Character.
What are we doing?
No, listen, I'm not saying he's number 6.
I know.
Again, I was basing this off of like a 2-minute window, which I'm like, okay, at that point it's 1 or 2, fair enough. But 5 seconds is like, there are certain scenarios in which, yes, you're gonna get betrayed by one of your homies. He chucks a spear, you dodge it, right? There's a sniper aiming at your head, etc. We could come up with 1,000,001 specific scenarios. I just feel like the amount of the exponential upgrade that the 13 months or the Thorn or the Red Thrisha gives you just in general is such a huge tick that I think that, yeah, if you're against someone on similar power scaling and you could see into the future, those weapons might not have as much of an effect, fair enough. But I feel like in terms of just raw output, you know, like you literally level up like 20 times, like when you have one of those items on you, to the point where it's like, sure, you could see 5 seconds in the future, but like, good luck. It's just going to be like, I'm going to get you. You know what I mean? In that time,
would you say that it's the sheer power of some of these things that just simply outweighs the fact, like Hockney's ability is incredibly resourceful, but where he is right now and what he can do with it in the arc, it like, just because of the sheer power output that something like the Red Thrisha or maybe even the Thorn can do, even if Hockney could like see an attack from those things coming, wouldn't be enough to neutralize or counterattack something like the Red Thrisha because it's just so powerful.
Yeah, that's basically the central point of my argument at the end of the day. I think if Hockney is on the level of those guys, obviously he's always a step ahead of them, so he wins every time again. So I get it, and I think the general usefulness can be pretty good, but
you know,
I
understand
raw power and like, you know, summoning spirits and breaking spells.
I get
just
that
within the tower.
I just think that,
you know,
our
is
people,
like,
that's true. I just think that our cast would have died, not just in the, if we're going even outside the arc, which we're not allowed to do, I understand, but just talking about the eyes in general. Without these things, I think, for example, and chat reminded me of this during the fight against Yurik, Hockney was constantly telling Bomb, go to the left, go to the right, dodge, because he was constantly able to see all the, you know, whenever Bomb would have been screwed, is what I'm saying.
God,
now,
all right,
now,
that's what makes me feel like want to root for these eyes though, is that like they really do. I think we we were underestimating like how much 5 seconds doesn't sound like a lot of time, but like he's literally saved lives with it. You know what I mean? And if it's from the core, even if it's something, if he was fighting the Red Thresha, again, maybe not countering the Red Thresha, but like if he can at least avoid those attacks, like that's something. It keeps him alive. It means that Joe won't be able to hit him. You know what I mean? Like that.
Yeah, I just feel like if you go, okay, it looks like Joe has the trump card, but I'm just say, I feel like there's a million and one scenarios where it's like, oh, if we didn't have this, we wouldn't be able to do this, right? Like the eyes save lives. If Bomb doesn't have the thorn, he can't fight rankers,
I feel like you
right?
could say that with somebody who has the Red Thresha, but what if they don't have Hockney's eyes and they get sniped in the back of the head from somebody who's much stronger?
Again, but y'all keep on bringing up these like uber specific examples.
No, but like I think they're more common than you think in the tower.
I guess I'm just saying that sometimes, like in those scenarios, if it's like someone's throwing a specific spear or sniper at you, and it's like I need to.
It literally happened though to Hockney. You know what I mean? Sorry, I keep cutting you off.
Happened. Like you put Hockney up against like someone who's just completely out of his league because they have like the thorn or something like that. I don't know if 5 seconds does anything.
Okay,
like I just think stalling the inevitable.
But if Bomb and Hockney are teamed up fighting somebody, okay, would you rather Bomb have the thorn when he's fighting that person, or constantly be able to have that guide? You know what I mean? And
1,000%.
Really? Like you could know exactly what your opponent. You could know exactly what your opponent is going to be doing for the rest of the fight.
Think of it, right? Like take like Bomb versus, spoiler sort of alert. This isn't this arc, so I'm not using this as an argument, but just to address your question, Bomb versus like Gatto or any of these rankers or anything. If my choice was Bomb, you like when he uses the thorn, that is right. Like one where he needs the thorn to go up against. If the argument is, or if the choice is, we either give Bomb the thorn to fight these guys, or we strip the thorn from him and Hockney has the eyes in the background, I'm absolutely going with the thorn because he just gets mollywopped. Right. You know what I mean? It's insane.
Right.
Like they're so fast, it's just so exponential that it's like I feel like scale. I could see it going 3.
He was dodging Hell Joe though, and that was fast because of Hockney's warnings. Okay, the last thing I'm gonna say, I agree with you. I could see it number 3. I'm gonna drop it after this. The last thing I'm gonna say, chat did remind me of this. Without Hockney's eyes, Yurik would not have showed up when he did because he told Garam what to say to get Yurik to join them. Remember? Yurik was hiding from Garam, and she saw she saw exactly what Yurik needed to. He saw what Garam needed to say to get Yurik to join them, and so
you know what? No, that's fair. And that actually, I'm not even just saying it to say that actually is a very solid argument. One that I think that maybe I was getting hung up on the raw output of power, which don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that like some of these items are just so ridiculous with their power. It's like that but to be fair, just in a utility and useful situation, I guess that it's like there's so much that you can do in terms of utility and versatility with the eyes that I could see it going at 3. I just feel like when you get to like 1 and 2, the raw amount of power output that those just like they're like super batteries. It's like nuclear compared to, you know what I mean? That it's like, you give anyone that it's just like insane. But that's fair. I can see that.
No, and I totally agree with you though. Like we're talking about the thorn here, and let's be real, this thing is the weapon that they want to use to kill Jihad. So it's kind of hard to say that. But
now you're gonna want to slap me. But no, to be fair, I needed to arrive at this conclusion because of everything we talked about. But I can actually see the eyes going at 2 over the thorn after all that I just gave. And the reason,
if you want, I'll give you our address. You can come over here.
And the reason I can be okay with it being in 2 is because I didn't. Fuck you. Okay, it took your argument to get me there.
Okay,
because at first I was ready to die on 3. But what swayed me was I did not realize that I didn't realize until you told me that he was directing Bomb in the dodging of attacks and stuff like that. And while I still say that I'd rather Bomb have the thorn to fight,
sure,
I do have to abide by my own rule and remember that this is strictly the Floor of Death arc. So within this arc, it isn't necessarily Bomb's thorn that is more useful over Hockney's eyes in that specific fight, although there are external factors.
Sure.
The thorn itself in all other scenarios, I feel, or if it's just bomb, I'd rather have the thorn 10 out of 10 times.
Although,
but this arc, I do feel like I neglected to realize that. I did not realize that that he was giving like a play-by-play during that fight, like you guys were saying. And then that Garum thing at the end really solidified it as like these eyes within this arc really do play a much bigger role than I originally gave them credit for.
And it is kind of like their arc, because the first arc we learn about them, whatever. But at the same time, not to switch and have me defend what you were originally defending, but the Thorn, without the Thorn, he wouldn't have even been able to fight Hell Joe at all. He wouldn't have been able to like fly in the air. And so it's like, I don't know. We're going to go in circles. I'll put it at 2. I respect it, Ian. I respect it.
Yeah, the eyes at 2 and the Thorn at 3.
All right.
That's what I'm saying.
This is our list, ladies and gentlemen. We should change the title of this video to just "Are Hockney's Eyes That Good?" It's not even Florida abilities anymore.
Oh my god!
Thank you for humoring me. That was a good debate, though. I genuinely could see it go either way. It was a good some good stuff.
That was some good shit.
Yeah.
Okay. Listen, I'm gonna do my outro now. I guess.
All right. Let's freaking
then we
do
could
it.
Go. That was fun.
That was fun. I like
All
our
right,
list.
ladies and gentlemen. That is going to do it for our top 6 rankings in the Floor of Death when it comes to abilities and items. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. If you did, make sure you guys are dropping a like on this video, subscribing to the channel, and hitting that bell if you're new here so you don't miss any future Tower of God content, among many other types that we do, video essays, skits, podcast discussions, collabs with people like Joe, etc. You don't want to miss it. And comment your thoughts down below. What did you think of our list and where it ended up? Would you have switched anything? Were there any honorable mentions that you think deserve to be just in the running here? Let us know. We're curious. And make sure you guys are catching us live on Dr. Bonehead's channel on YouTube and also our channel on Twitch. We'll be going back and forth with this sort of thing, just like we split the videos up on YouTube. So you definitely want to catch it live. You definitely want to catch it on YouTube. So you got to be following on all the platforms that you possibly can. The links are in the description down below. But until next time, folks, thank you so much for watching. We'll catch you all on the flip.
Peace.
Ninjas are samurais, blaze of the kunais. Find me in the leaf of the cloud, screaming out Bankai. We just some ghouls though, who like seeing parts fly. They like what you saying, Goma got more through the storylines. I tested your neck from the start, my hunters gon' come for your heart. I promise you'll land in my boulevard, left them in one piece, no